finally, Rog, a proper soccer city. Live from the pageant in glorious St. Louis. It's Men in Blazers Live, there's cups for you.
This whole room smells faintly of Josh Sargent's aftershave wafting over us. Soccer's coming home! And it's so good to be in St. Louis, you beautiful city. We have met you. Oh, on this day of days in which the United States men finally took to the field in World Cup play after 3,065 long days out of the competition. Who's counting? Me. And we'll break down the entire game tonight. A 1-1 draw against Wales that was both a relief and a haunting agony. We'll break it down. And England, a little bit go deep on Senegal. Oh, England, please let them have used up their entire allotment of tournament goals in this one game, Dave.
Yeah, 1-1 draw. You say it was a 1-1 win, Roger. We are not here alone. We've got an incredible lineup of hometown heroes to cheer us up, celebrate, a little bit of both, let's face it. So many conflicting emotions after that one, mainly for Roger. But we are so glad to be here, not just with you. Also, we're joined by all the GFOPs who are currently out there watching this live on Twitch, where it is being streamed. Name check, Richmond, Virginia, checking in. Quessa Dylan 3 says, CK062165, we love a number. In this group, anything could happen in any game, wide open.
Like my legs, Davo, when I'm man-spreading. But my God, it's amazing to be here. Davo.
In the epicenter of our nation, home to so many iconic landmarks, the Gateway Arch, Busch Stadium, and one slightly less iconic landmark, but one that lives close to our hearts, the Anheuser-Busch Brewery, birthplace of our dearly beloved friend, first third bud of the day.
Can I just tell you, it's like, you know, the Irish beer that we can't mention by name, it begins with G, just one G, not three. Yeah. And it tastes different when you drink it in Dublin. Yeah. Budweiser tastes so different when you drink it here in St. Louis. Yep. It's even more, makes my nipples tingle. And I will say, I cannot tell you how elated I am to be in this magnificent city. I feel like Lewis and Clark fortifying ourselves with slingers before the trek out to the Pacific Ocean, which they did in this very city in 1803.
Yeah. They did have more hair, Rog, but I'm told that otherwise the resemblance is sound.
I've got to tell you, I look on that photograph on the right-hand side, and on a day like today, I'm like, oh, Lewis and Clark, bite your arm off for Eddie Lewis and Ricardo Clark. That Lewis and Clark, Davo, ultimate heat map, they would have shut the game down.
Yep, bite your arm off for some T-Ravs, some snarfs. We enjoyed some snarfs today, Rog. Ted Drew's frozen custard. This city, the birthplace of not one, not two, but three of the greatest poets in American history.
Maya Angelou. T.S. Eliot. A lot of great T.S. Eliot fans in the house tonight.
Yeah.
And of course, Nelly! Oh, St. Lunatics for life, am I right? Just a dream, Davo. Dare I say, one of the greatest songs of the 21st century.
Yeah, without a doubt. Got a lot of music left in this century, though, Rog. If I were you, I'd hold your fire. But we are sitting in what is also one of the great youth football epicenters of this nation, a hotspot that has produced a whopping 5 members of the US World Cup team that took down my England 1-0 in 1950.
Jack Grealish, I know you're listening. Those who don't know history are doomed to repeat it. Dude does not know what an encyclopedia is, so it's not very likely he knows his history.
Dude hasn't heard of 1950.
What's that, a 1950? I don't know what that is. Harry Keogh! The postman turned goalkeeper who kept England at bay. Frank Borgie, who fought in the Battle of the Bulge. Charlie Gloves Colombo, my personal favorite. Look at these gloves. He wore them no matter what the weather, every time he took the field. My kind of guy.
It's also given us one of the all-time great human beings, people's captain, Becky Sauerbrunn.
I don't like to be hyperbolic, but tell me she's not the greatest captain since Crunch.
Also, Tim Ream.
Out of exile, into the World Cup for the first time, aged 35, bless his heart, a gent as lovely as a human being as he is tenacious as a competitor.
Also, Rog, Canary cult hero, Josh Sargent.
He's ginger and he's freckled. He could be the president of FIFA, but instead, he's American soccer gritty.
And home, starting next year, to the one and only St. Louis City Soccer Club!
Come on, you Louigans!
Honestly, what a joy it is to be here with all of you in this glorious city, celebrating the start of this month of wonder.
A month like no other. We come to marvel. We come to think only positive thoughts about our baby Eagles. We come to celebrate the incredible football community that you have all built in this city and continue to build year on year in St. Louis, and above all, to make collective memories with all of you.
Okay, Rog, I'm looking at my Twitch. I can see some more comments. Sabister24 says, never heard of these guys until 5 minutes ago. Can somebody fill me in?
It's my wife.
Killian Squared says, what percentage of Roger's blood is Jägermeister? The only percentage left over after the Budweiser, I would say. And now, for the ritual of rituals at an MIB show, please rise as we take the first ceremonial photograph of the 2022 World Cup. On your feet, St. Louis. Hold up your ESPN signs.
Hold up your signs so we know where we are. We got no idea. As the great poet warrior Delia Smith would say, let's be having you, St. Louis.
Photograph we've ever taken, Rog.
And that's the end of the show. Thank you for coming.
Thank you for coming. Okay, Rog, this is where Rog wrote in my script, MagCal watch. And I called him over during rehearsal. I said, Rog, what does MagCal watch mean? He goes, oh, magical Rog, which is good. Okay, magical Rog. Kick us off with a toast.
Oh, you know what? I'm going to open a fresh bud for this bad boy. And I want to raise this in St. Louis third first bud of the day. Oh, bud, can we just say, for this World Cup, this in this bottle is the equivalent of the lambada, the forbidden dance. And I want to raise it to Alex Scott, the incredible BBC broadcaster, on a day of more FIFA darkness. FIFA not only banned Belgium for wearing a jersey with the word love in the collar because, well, you know, FIFA obviously leading the anti-love lobby.
Don't like love.
Who's not for love? Gianni Infantino, me, motherfuckers. They also banned England from wearing a pride armband on the field at the World Cup. So English analyst Alex Scott wore it on the sideline as she broadcasted to the nation, raising my bud to positivity 1, dystopia 0. Big love, courage.
Courage. Okay, here we go, Rog. World Cup 2022, Day 2. Dateline, Planet Earth. Let's dive in with no further ado. USA 1, Wales 1. The United States take the field in a Men's World Cup for the first time since 2014. And oh boy, did it start out well, Rog, with the team shooting out like a cannonball right into a large man's belly. The US really turned the screw early, and in the 36th minute, a real moment of class with Christian Pulisic, our Lord and Savior, plunging forward, slipping in the Lille man, Tim Weah, to neatly finish and give the US the lead. But the second half, a whole different slice of Dylan Thomas. The Welsh laid siege to the American goal, and with less than 10 minutes left, Walker Zimmerman lunged in on Gareth Bale, gifting the Welsh a penalty that Bale lashed home. In the end, a point apiece to start proceedings at this tournament for the US men's national team. How are we feeling now, Roger?
I want to go back before kickoff. I want to say personally, I have rarely buzzed more before a game. This was my first ever game watching the US men at a men's World Cup as an American citizen. And David, you know well that I'm terrible at bureaucracy, I'm terrible at filing papers, but when we were in the ESPN studios at the 2014 World Cup in Rio, I swore live on air that if the US would get out the group stage safely, I would become an American citizen. And Tim Howard and the boys did the job. I was a man of my word. And then the US crapped the bed and didn't make World Cup 2008. Yeah. So I found this day...
Which gave you a lot more time to do the paperwork.
I found today just so unbelievably meaningful. Just this sport I love, growing so fast in a nation I adore, this incredibly intoxicating team, this beautiful, diverse face of our nation that can unify us. And we need these wins. We need this performance. We need big moments. We need to wake America up to this World Cup. So that was my mentality.
Yeah.
And I was also like, you just don't want to lose the opening game of the group stage. That was like, those are the two roiling sides, which we agree with. Would you say Greg went with a interesting lineup? It was like a 4-4 Tim, a lot of Tims in there.
A lot of Tims. There were maybe 7 or 8 Tims out of the 11 players. A lot of guys named Tim, a lot of Ts out there. I think most of us were pretty happy with the lineup he sent out there. Local boy Josh Sargent there in the starting 11.
Give that man the Fallon d'Or!
Local boy Tim Ream, who Greg Berhalter has just discovered plays pretty good football in the Premier League for Fulham and might be worth selecting.
By the way, do you know where he found him? Because Greg does not watch European football, but he was watching game tape of St. Dominic's High School from the. It's incredible. 18.1818% of this US team come from the St. Louis region.
Yeah.
And Josh Sargent and Tim Ream both played at Dominic's High School, which is just mind-blowing. Let's forget youth development anywhere else in the nation. Let's just put all of our money into Dominic's High School, and the US will win the bloody World Cup. But we went for the unforeseen double Tim formation. No Brendan, no Gio.
But they'd come on late.
We think Greg's saving Gio for marriage. Yeah. Let's wait a while before it's...
Let's wait a while.
Before we go too far. Gio Reyna, your time will come, please God. St. Louis Josh Sargent, I am thrilled for that man. 4 years ago, he was watching the World Cup on stage with us in St. Louis, that poor bastard. And now, he's in the World Cup. What a confident, cocky kid he is. I adore him. And Wales... They went for a speedy formation. They hoped to catch us at the back. But then we went to the anthems, and I found it very meaningful, the US anthem ringing out at a World Cup for the first time in like 27 years or whatever, give or take. God bless you, Anthony Robinson, you Scouse American, learning the words. Huge bloody credit. Just a lad from Liverpool who loves the United States. I adore that man. And he also adores very tight underpants.
You would.
Yeah, but the Welsh anthem, Davo, we got to talk about that. The Welsh are a nation of singers. Their anthem, Land of Our Fathers, is stunning. O land of my fathers, O land of my love, dear mother of minstrels who kindle and move. That doesn't really rhyme. And hero on hero, who at an honour's proud call for freedom their lifeblood let fall. We will get back to this anthem, Dave. I'm not
it
Welsh.
Rhymes in Welsh.
I'm not Welsh, but I teared up watching.
Yeah, it's the most beautiful thing. The Welsh sing. They're known for their choirs and their coal mines and their local cities. Their male choirs, and they sing at the rugby. They sing at the football. They sing down the pub. They sing everywhere. And it was absolutely beautiful.
It's one of the great sights in world football, watching this red wall commune with their players. And we both know, I mean, I'm from Liverpool. Liverpool's like crammed into the armpit of Wales. We know a ton of Welsh people. And I felt for them in this moment, their longing, their narrative, their sense of destiny. It's been 64 long years that they've yearned to get to this World Cup. They've been the punchline of so many jokes within British football for so long. They have woken up. They have reasserted themselves as a truly joyous collective in their own right. They've launched their own World Cup journey, propelled by their own sense of destiny. I'm only saying this to try and prepare myself, brace myself, to try and make myself a better person for what is to come. But in that first half, even after being anthemed, we charged at them with contempt and confidence. And Davo, I've had Tyler Adams on my podcast every month all year, and he's talked about fearlessness, and he's talked about just he couldn't wait to be at this World Cup, that we were going to do them. And I'm always like, yeah, Tyler. And I like to believe it, but I don't always believe it. But watching that first half, when we charged down the right, Weston in the pocket, dropping deep, setting up Serginho Dest, past the Dutchie on the right-hand side, Tim Weah, over and over. This was Yankee Arsenal. This was the best US football I've seen in a World Cup for as long as I can remember.
I completely and utterly agree. We've seen some amazing US performances at the World Cup in 2002 and 2006 and 2010. But it was always counter-attack. It wasn't possession-based football. And when it was possession-based football, it wasn't played with a real spine. It wasn't played with real aggression. This was a half of football just dominating midfield. The only player you failed to mention there was Yunus Musa. Oh, my goodness, what a footballer. And the way that they controlled the middle of the park, how aggressively they played, they controlled possession, they controlled the tempo, they controlled the aggression. Mostly, Weston got a little overexcited at times, but it was just absolutely superb to watch.
And the Welsh, there was a moment in the first half when I actually felt sorry for them.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm more afraid when you think of Welsh of what's inside one of your bottles of grape jello. We almost coaxed him into scoring an own goal off the head of bloody Rodon. You can take the boy out of Tottenham. We overwhelmed them, and in the 34th minute, this happened.
Wow. I love the guy on the Zoom at the end. He's on a work Zoom. I love that.
God, by the way, the last person to score against the Welsh in the World Cup was Pele. Tim Weah.
Yeah.
Pele. Can we just say, Christian Pulisic charged onto that ball, no second guessing, exploded onto it, no hesitation. He knew the minute he was going to take possession, what was going to happen. Like he had probably countless times in Hershey, Pennsylvania as a kid. If you looked on the Telemundo broadcast, a second he took control of the ball, Davo, Andres Cantor shouted, "Peligroso!"
Oh.
Danger. He knew exactly what was going on. He knew. Christian bolted forward. And what was fascinating, there's so much pressure on that kid. So much pressure. Like, lesser human beings would have probably cut inside, trying to manufacture his own shot. You know, he's got the Volkswagen commercial going on in his head. Where he's like thinking, what am I going to do here? Glory, commercial opportunities, shoot your shot, my own headlines. But no, he stabbed a straight pass to a diagonal running Tim Weah.
Oh.
Dave, would you say diagonal running Tim Weah, one of the top three most dangerous Tim Weahs?
Oh, and yeah, we love it. And one of the top three most terrifying diagonal runs. It was just a perfect run, a little jink, the most perfectly weighted pass, a beautiful assist, and then the finish from Tim Weah. outside of the right boot, which nobody expects, into the side netting. You should get an extra half goal for something in the side netting, Rog.
You always say that.
Or the roof of the net, but the side of the net, I love it. And if soccer was top golf, that's what you'd get. And it goes into the side netting. And fantastic goal, 1-0. We were going insane.
Can I just say, for Tim Weah, it is so hard to be the son of a legend as he is. I mean, just ask Chet Hanks. And to run.
We will when he guests on our show in Los Angeles.
Which show? It's hard to be the son of someone famous.
Yeah, exactly. It's a little spin-off podcast I'm working on.
Are you working with Chet Hanks?
No, I'm not.
Are you really not? Or you were until 2 minutes ago.
He might be doing a category on Jeopardy. I can't reveal these things.
But he rose to the moment. He suppressed all of that. A stab of poetry past the keeper. Almost like an Arthur Miller character, throwing away the past, the weight, the burden, and screaming, I may be the son of a legend. But in that moment, he became a great American legend in his own right, and I adored every single second. That is
great goal.
Great human moment, but we didn't put it away. For all of our possession, Davo was agonizing about the number of shots we had, and then he got annoyed at me for putting it in the plural.
Yeah, number of shots on goal for the US? 1. That one. That was it. That was the shot on goal for the US in the entire game.
Our set pieces were woeful. Our final ball not there. And for all the wonder, I mean, Lallis, who must have been in the Fox studio, ripping the sleeves off his shirt, wrapping his tie around his head, just going feral. He tweeted in one moment, he said, what did he say? Sweep
the leg!
Sweep the leg! This is an amazing thing. Lallis wrote, end Wales' misery. Just an amazing moment, which, of course, in that very second, I can imagine Lallis just getting Rob Stone and just smashing vinyl copies of Tom Jones's Watch New Pussycat over his head. And a second, I saw Lallis.
Just a moment for Rob Stone, because we haven't seen him since yesterday.
David's worried for
I'm
Rob.
very worried about Rob Stone.
David thinks he's been disappeared.
Yeah.
But the second Lallis wrote, end Wales' misery, we just knew. We just knew. And there was a question mark as our boys walked off at halftime. Why didn't we kill them off? And so it came to pass. Wales came out the second half, a different team. They had Kiefer Moore in his gimp suit, released.
From his cage.
From his cage. Yeah, the Welsh manager just clapped his hand and said, release the gimp. Get out there, Welsh Hodor. And by the way, I don't think Greg gets Peacock. I think we need to do a whip around so that Greg can get Peacock, because anyone that has seen Kiefer Moore play for Bournemouth, Moore did what he has done for Bournemouth all season. Big boy, created panic, gave us so much to think about, so much to worry, dragged us backwards. And Davo, first half, we were Arsenal, ebullient, young, kinetic, everything is possible. We touched the sky. Second half, we were suddenly Everton.
Yeah. Suddenly bypassing midfield, the ball not going through Yunus Musa and Weston McKennie. Tyler Adams remained incredible. Second ball's not being won, and suddenly this direct play from Wales, the long ball. Kiefer Moore seemed to be everywhere. The gimp was everywhere. Rog released from his cage, so excited to see real turf, to see the outside. It's like a bird let out of the aviary. He's like going everywhere. He's so excited, flapping his wings. And yeah, they were everywhere. The Welsh were just, they just played a different kind of football, the kind of football. It actually felt a little bit CONCACAF-y, but on a great pitch. And you felt like the US could have dealt with it, but they seemed to be shocked that Wales had a player named Kiefer Moore and that suddenly Wales might play slightly more direct football.
God, Greg said that. I didn't think they'd play so much direct football, he said after the game. I mean, I honestly thought about that scene in Star Wars where Luke Skywalker shoots down the TIE fighter from the gunner seat on the Millennium Falcon and says, I got him! And then Han turns around and says, great kid, don't get cocky. I think we got cocky. I don't know what it was. Was it the pressure or was it that we punched ourselves out? Welsh fans bellowing on their team, all of them. Every Welsh fan looks eerily like Gunter from Friends in Central Perk. Got a Land of our fathers, lads.
It is true, though, Roger, it's what has so far been a fairly sterile World Cup.
Yeah.
You did feel the Welsh fans. So often World Cup football is a communion between team and fans. I saw it with the Irish team at the World Cups, again and again and again. And the Welsh seemed to respond to their fans in that moment.
And all we said going into this was the Welsh, they just need one mistake. They're so experienced. They're just poised for us to buckle a tiny crevice, a tiny opportunity. That's what they're designed to do. Every podcast preview we did, we screamed that out. And then in the 80th minute, look away if you are not ready for this, if it's too soon. This happened. What was Walker Zimmerman thinking, David?
I think he was wondering why Greg Berhalter didn't pick up the ball in the out of bounds and do a bounce pass and make it more difficult for the Welsh player to throw it in. But it was an
epic moment in man-bun on man-bun violence. And you got to credit Kenny Bale for making this happen. Gareth Bale, who barely had a kick all game. Tim Ream had that balding bastard in his pocket, lined up the penalty, and in the 82nd bloody minute, play tape.
He got a hand to it.
He lost his hand. Look at that. Look at that. Look at that. Look at that. Gunter from Central Perk. Gunter from Central Perk. That was dictionary definition tonk. And we've got to say, Gareth Bale, what a mentality. What a warrior. What a man to play your first World Cup game knowing that everyone in your home nation is counting on you to deliver, then barely touching the ball, but then writing yourself into law, smoking that ball through Matty Turner, making himself the story, the back page, the hero, Richard Burton, Catherine Zeta-Jones, Spike from Notting Hill, Gareth bloody Bale. He's a winner everywhere he goes, Davo, apart from when he's wearing a Tottenham Hotspur jersey.
Yeah, but scores in finals again and again and again. He's a big game player. I mean, so famous in Wales. Just imagine this tiny country, but to be the best soccer player that your nation has ever produced, probably the most famous athlete that your nation has ever produced. I mean, it's incredible. And in this moment, he didn't shirk, he didn't fall away, he didn't become invisible. He stepped up and he made that happen. And you have to, and I know it's hard tonight to be a neutral, but from a neutral's point of view, you've got to look at that and think, wow, that's a pretty amazing sporting moment.
Wales is as big as Nevada. And they deserve the point tonight. We had a Welsh actor, Johan Griffiths, on at halftime on our Twitch. And I talked to him, we were 1-0 up, we were killing them. Lallis was, sweep the leg, put them on the... So like I said, I love your passion, I love, your anthem. And maybe I got a bit cocky myself, because I never pictured them getting back into it. So it was fine for me to be like a generous human being. It's a huge mistake. But I do believe...
You should have swept the leg.
We should have swept... I should have just...
With a guest.
I should have been like, Johan Griffiths, boom, put my finger in his eye and just had no bloody mercy, Lallis style. Let's live by the Lallis creed, people. Boom. But Land of Our Fathers, if you listen to the lyrics, is essentially, we have a beautiful country of magnificent people, and even though we were conquered by the English bastards, you will not silence us. Essentially, when you are oppressed for 800 years by the English and you do not wilt, you do not buckle, you always resist, you can always roar back in 90 minutes of football. And I do want to say, we are now in a position, we didn't lose. The US, we'll talk about it in a second, they get out the group when they don't lose. But I am, part of me, a tiny part of me, I'm 97% USA through and through, but the 3% of me that is still a human being is still happy that there will be many beers being raised, probably still right now, in St. Asaph and Bangor and St. David's and Rhondda tonight, right, David?
All over. And yet, Rog, before the game, if I'd offered you a 1-1 draw, you would have bitten my arm off for that 1-1 draw.
Yes, that is true. But, remember when we drew the English 2010 and the New York Post did that incredible headline in post-game where it was like, USA win 1-1. let's be honest, this felt like a 1-1 loss. You know, we reached out, we touched the heavens, we walked with the gods, we dreamed that we were becoming the team that we'd yearned for, and then we ate dirt. You know, Greg's joy turned to ashes in our mouths. No Gio Reyna, truly an incredible mystery. He said post-game that he's 100% and ready to go. You know, to me, by the way, in a World Cup, you put your best players on the field. We're a nation of 330 million. We take our best players, we put them on the bloody field, and we let them do what they can do. But big picture, we felt a sense of soaring possibility. And we also felt, ultimately, at the final whistle, a sense of vulnerability. And when you glimpse, as a young person, for the first time, a sense of your own mortality, that can change you. And the story of this World Cup will be, how does it change this US team? Will they now be afraid? Will they now pull back their foot and feel a sense of dread, sense of conservatism? Or will they still retain that sense of fearlessness against England, Dave? Will we take risks? Will we believe? Will we trust ourselves? Will we second guess? That's ultimately going to be the story of this World Cup for this
So much of World Cup football, and you and I between us have covered so many tournaments, it is about the adjustment. And it's about adjusting to what other teams do and adjusting the way you play throughout a tournament. The alarming thing for me today, but not permanently alarming, but temporarily alarming, is that when Wales adjusted, which they adjusted big time, cage, gimp, trotted out, large man, feathers, runs around, it's the US didn't adjust back. They didn't change back. They didn't do something different. And they played with so much aggression, so much poise, so much tempo. They played with so much, but they didn't adjust. And the US have to adjust. They have to adjust before they go into that game on Friday. I still think it's going to be a draw. I've thought it's going to be a draw since the draw was announced. I thought, wow, that England-USA game, it's going to be another 1-1 draw or 0-0 draw between the teams. But I got to tell you, the US have to adjust.
Make no mistake, I would have bitten your arm off for a draw before the game. You know, that is what we needed. Do not lose the opening game. We did not lose. That's the great side. I do feel we saw glimpses of just how great this group of individuals can be. And we saw just how much they have to learn in equal measure. And for now, roll on Friday, roll on England, and suck it, Piers Morgan.
Claims to be Irish. Okay, Rog, the earlier game. England 6, Iran 2. Gareth Southgate's mob run rampant over Iran in the first game of the day. Goals from Jude Bellingham. Wow. 2 from Bukayo Saka. 1 from Raheem Sterling. 1 from Marcus Rashford with basically his first touch. And for Jack Grealish on leg day, they highlighted a dominant opening performance for England and really set the tone as they scooped all 3 points to start Group B play.
Oh, England, Euro finalists, World Cup 2018 semi-finalist, facing Iran. We're big anthem analysts in this one, and for me, the joyous part of this was when, God bless Declan Rice, during the anthems, poor little darling sang God Save the Queen. And I'm just like, oh, bless, when he finds out what happened to her, Devo, it's going to be devoed.
Yeah.
You better tell him before Friday. That's actually...
It's going to be difficult. I'll have to learn about succession. What do you mean succession? Don't understand. Don't get it. Don't know what that means.
It's something to do with...
It's always been God Save the Queen. Why would that change? I mean, come on.
Grealish will be like...
You're having a laugh.
Grealish will try and intellectualise him and be like, I think it's something to do with an encyclopedia, love.
Yeah.
I've got to get Christian to email him. But Iran, their players, grim-faced during their own anthem, not a word sung, a silent protest for this poor team taking the field against the backdrop of widespread protests at home sparked by the death of Mahsa Amini. Players caught between the demands of the protesters urging them to speak out and the fear of what will happen to their families if they do. I'll just say woman, life, freedom. To see those banners around the stadium was probably the best part of all of our day. It's what football should be all about.
Fox, by the way, Rog, delighted to comment on that protest. not so eager to comment on anything else going on down in Qatar.
What are you saying? Do you think Mr. Q is making their editorial decisions?
I wouldn't be surprised.
We're going to get Mr. Q on
Love
this
Mr.
show, by
Q.
the way. I love Mr. Q in the face. But, oh my God, how did he get 5 million followers on Instagram, David?
What? I love Qatar.
There's only 300,000 citizens in Qatar.
Lots of people love Qatar.
It's true. David Beckham.
Yeah. Yeah.
But to the football. If Mr. Q's up there, it's giving us we can continue. Thank you, Mr. Q. Yeah. England, no wins in 6, slightly beleaguered confidence going into it, but that all burnt off because Gareth Southgate, he's got one of the most attacking squads ever at his disposal. He's got his conservative instincts, defence first, also slightly undermined by his desire to plop Harry Maguire onto any field of play. And he got 5 attackers on the field. And the second the game kicked off, all doubt just was burnt off. England, God, there was a long break. We should acknowledge Alireza Benavan, the goalkeeper who can fling that ball like an Iranian Josh Hart, 60 yards, terrible head injury. Really one of Iran's greatest attacking weapons. Once he was gone, slight break in the rhythm of the game, seemed to blunt England's impetus momentarily, took them a moment to resummon. But once they did, Iran couldn't live with them. Harry Maguire hit the post, but within a moment, Luke Shaw floated over a stunning cross, and 19-year-old Jude Bellingham did this.
Wow. We haven't had an English midfielder who could intentionally put a header into that part of the goal since Brian Robson, Rog. This was an amazing, a baby, 19 years old, that casual header that I've never seen anybody even attempt.
Where's the English self-doubt, David?
I don't know. Where is his? He lost it in Germany, I think.
Possibly the most un-English thing I have ever seen. At Gabriel Slatan said, Jude Bellingham, born the same week Justin Timberlake released Senorita. Just putting that out there. And I just knew when that ball went in, the first ever World Cup goal by a player born after the year 2000, somewhere in Los Angeles, Tom Burley was creaking open his safe, pulling out an extra 34 million cash and telling his minions to get me Jude Bellingham. He's probably trying to trade mucky bets for him as we speak.
Yeah.
At Sweaty347 suggested Burley's plan is to play Jude centrally in a 4-4-4. That's the way you double revenue lines, David.
That's the way you double the revs.
Oh, and within minutes, it would get worse for Iran.
Wow, Slabhead with the assist, Rog.
Boom shakalaka. Any Arsenal fans here tonight? God, your man sent beers uprising across pubs in England. Harry Maguire assist. A player who's got this unique ability to thrive at the world level and just utterly undermine his club, which I adore, and I hope he continues. Floodgates, Iran, it was terrible. It wasn't just the goals for England, it was who was involved. Harry Maguire soaring in the air, slabhead is slabheading again, Raheem Sterling finding the net, Luke Shaw pulsating, Rashford trotting on, first couple of touches, goal. Even Jackie Grealish in his supercar. I was so happy for Mrs. Grealish 69, weren't you, David? And yes, Iran got their goals. We're going to watch Greg, if you're listening, watch out for Mehdi Taremi. Just do not have Walker Zimmerman kick him in the face, whatever you do. And that was it. The record opening day for England. 6-2. England overconfidence, hopefully at 6. Playing yourself slowly into the tournament too. And we've got to acknowledge England take a tournament with a furnace of expectation. But this was just good vibes, David.
Yeah, England played great football. You know, one of the biggest criticisms of England, or one of their weaknesses, is that all of their goals come from Harry Kane and Raheem Sterling. And just today, You know, Harry Kane had a couple of beautiful assists, but 1 goal from Raheem Sterling, 5 from other players. This is a very good squad, a mixture of youth and experience, a lot of World Cup experience out there. England, I'm sorry, were always going to be good in this group. I still think it's going to be a draw on Friday. I still think the US go through with England. This tournament for the US is not about this England game on Friday, although it sort of is now. They need at least a point from that game. But it's about what happens in the knockout part. But England look good. They look powerful. They look strong. They look fast. They've got a lot of very, very, very good talent. Very good players.
England fans only have 2 gears. They have utterly bereft, woeful, we are a shambles, and they have overconfident, nothing can go wrong now. Let's hope that they're very much full on the latter mode for Friday. By the way, I still do have hope for Friday, and part of the reason is because one of my favourite broadcasters, Neverbull's Landon Donovan. I mean, let's look at his bracket, which I found on Fox's website today. So Landon Donovan, he's been in World Cups. And if you're listening on the podcast, Landon Donovan has the USA going where, Davo?
To the final.
Yeah.
Shockingly, he has them losing to Brazil.
Yeah. By the way, I've got to say, it shows a real commitment to objectivity to have the USA get all the way to the final, but then the honesty to admit, yeah, we might not have enough to beat Brazil in the final.
It's the work that Landon did in the bottom right-hand part of the chart. He has Belgium beating Germany in the last 16. And then it has Senegal beats Belgium. That sends Belgium into the Senegal into the semi-final, just so the US can beat them in a plausible fashion.
I mean,
love it.
I look at this and I'm just like, Landon, if you are utterly self-deceiving and bullshitting yourself, just keep going. Let us win the effing trophy in your dreams. Give us that glory at least. And also, Landon, P.S., what happened to Mexico? I thought they were your other second favourite team. Dave, talking about other favourite teams, let's talk about one of mine, Netherlands, Senegal.
Yeah, great game. Senegal 0, Netherlands 2, or as Derek Ray calls the Netherlands, Nederland.
Can we just applaud Derek Ray for the amount of research that man does?
Linguistic work he's doing. He's going CIA. I love the work he did.
His nameology.
Yeah, slightly better than ours.
We probably just pronounced the name Derek Ray if we're being
probably
honest.
Wrong. Derek Ray. Louis van Gaal, his mob, see off the Sadio Mane-less AFCON champs behind a pair of late goals. The first, an 84th minute Cody Gakpo header from a sumptuous KDB ball. And then David Klaassen. I got him today in my Panini stickers. Remember him, Rog? He added a second to see Nederland remain level on points with Ecuador in Group A.
God, David Klaassen looks like Stephen Naismith is Stephen Naismith. Also, translucent was actually good at football. But this was the African champion, Senegal, Sean Cruelly of Sadio Mane. It's hard to play in a World Cup when you're having a tendon reattached to the head of your right tibia. That will knock you out. And the Dutch took full advantage. Happy for them. Legendary coach Louis van Gaal, a joy for our show. Battling a terribly advanced prostate cancer. This is almost certainly his last dance, and I'm cheering him every step of the way. And they edge this game, a very sweaty cut and thrust affair. Senegal always flickering down the flank. Ismail Assar doing Ismail Assar things. Real stalemate. Until an incredible ball from Frankie de Jong, an arrow, and Cody Gakpo. What a header. Yes, that would be future Manchester United bust, Cody Gakpo. But the real hero of the game, goalkeeper Andres Noppert, one of the joys of this tournament for me. He's 6'8". He's the tallest player at the World Cup. Great saves down the stretch to keep the Dutch in it. Uncapped before this game. A career backup as a player. Herenveen goalkeeper. Advised by his family to give up football in 2020 without a club. And today he starred in a World Cup and we're all talking around him across the world. That's what I love about this tournament. That's what I love about him. Never give up, never quit, always dream. That to me, David, that's what the World Cup should always and only be about.
As Shep9378 says on the Twitch, what is this world, twisted? That's a good Louis van Gaal throwback for those observing.
Queen's Park
yes,
Raisins.
another very
Louis
good
Van
game.
Gaals Army.
Okay, enough of this little funny tournament going on in Qatar, Rog. We want to revel in St. Louis's majesty for a moment right now.
Will you let us do that?
We are thrilled to introduce our first guest. Joining us on stage, one of the greatest defensive shortstops to ever grace the game of baseball. A Hall of Famer, a Cardinals icon of massive proportions, the only human being with a backflip to rival Sam Kerr's, a Major League Baseball legend whose athleticism and acrobatic flair still burn in our memories. That's right, pay no attention to that man behind the curtain. It's the Wizard of Oz himself, that singular artist of the infield. Go crazy, folks, go crazy! It's the one and only Ozzie Smith! Ozzie! Ozzie.
Boy, look at this. Boy, you guys are
the
ready.
Camarena.
Camarena.
The Budweiser, the
Budweiser.
Camarena, we've got all the stuff.
All right, everything's here.
Ozzie Smith. Go, I want you to know this. So I'm in Liverpool in 1985. British TV took all 7 games of the 1985 World Series, crushed them down into an hour special.
That was a good year. That was a good year.
It was an incredible year. I'd never seen anything like it. It was you, Jack Clark, Terry Pendleton, and I've got to say, I was like a kid, and I watched you run out to play. I was like 13. I watched you do a backflip once, and I just said to my mum, I want to move to St. Louis. And I saved up my pocket money and mailed it off to the Cards, and they sent me back this pennant, which was my prized possession.
Look at that. In his room. In his room when he was a teenager.
Wow.
And Ozzie Smith, I love you so much that when I had my 4th child, we had so many children we'd run out of names. And I said to my wife, let's name him Ozzie after Ozzie Smith.
And she said,
She's like, sure, I'm sure you get that a lot. You get that a lot, right?
I do. I've dogs, cats. Yeah, I'm a lot of things.
Dogs, cats, and Bennetts. I love it.
Ozzie Smith, I'm a lot of things, David. There's just an incredible amount of life truth in that statement.
That backflip, Ozzie, your signature move, every opening day, special occasions. I know you first pulled it out in '78, right? As a Padres,
1978.
As a Padres rookie. It was a thing of beauty. Let's take a look at this. Whoa! Look at the vertical. Here we go. Whoa!
Roger, you know.
Here we go. We're losing a little bit of vertical.
Yeah.
Oh, no, still
Still
good.
Still pretty
Still
good.
Wait, here we go. And again.
Yeah, this is a little lower.
At this point, you're like
50. And that's almost 50 years old.
almost 50 years old.
50 years old, yeah.
Okay, we've got plenty of room, Ozzie. Come on, let's.
Okay. Yeah, right.
When did you last do a backflip, Ozzie?
2002, and it wasn't pretty.
Were you aware the last time you did a backflip that you were like, this will be my last time, I will never do this thing again in my life?
Yeah, as the blood trickled down my knee, I said, yeah, that's it. Yeah, I messed up a good pair of pants. Yeah, that was it. It was time. As you noticed, through the years, it got lower and lower. There were a couple times that, you know, my leaps were so good, and I got so high, I looked down and I go, oh, they're waiting on me. I better get back down there.
When did you did one first for the Padres, but when did you first do one in your life? When did you realize that you could do that?
I grew up in Southern California, and I lived across the street from a wood factory where they used to build pallets.
Oh.
And so there was always plenty of sawdust. And back in the day, we spent a lot of time outside. And as kids, there was always a dare. I dare you. I bet you can't do that. You know, we had this 4 to 6 foot fence that had the spikes on top. And they say, I bet you can't jump over that. If you don't make it, it ain't pretty. So you learn to leap. And on Thursdays, I went to what they call the family fun centers, where they had trampolines in the ground, and that was really kind of it. That's how it started. Now, when I got to the big leagues in 1978, I had a teammate by the name of Gene Tennis who had girls that were involved in gymnastics. And he wanted me to show them that I could do that at some point in time during the season, which I wasn't able to do. So the final day of the season, which was Fan Appreciation Day, they thought it would be a good idea going out to my position. Now, in San Diego, the entertainment was the chicken. So now, I didn't want to go up against the likes of the chicken, because there was one embarrassing day where a ground ball was hit, and I forgot to close the gate, and it went between my legs. So the chicken went out, and yes, he imitated the ball going between my legs, and that was embarrassing.
Yeah. Getting made fun of by a man dressed as a chicken,
not good.
That's pretty harsh.
Not good. But that's how it got started. I reluctantly did it. People liked it so much, they asked me to do it opening day the following year, and lo and behold, a trademark was born.
Parents, put spikes on top of your fences.
Yep.
There you go.
Torture your children.
It'll make them jump high.
Great.
It'll make them jump high.
God, and by the way, you always stuck the landing like Kerry Strug, and we are here tonight to celebrate the World Cup, but we're also here to celebrate this great city, which you know so well. You've lived here since '82, carved star for 14 years, and there's something so special about this city. I've been here on a Cardinals game day, and I grew up in Liverpool, where football is everything. It's how we announce ourselves to the world. And I watched the Cards, the pre-game, the atmosphere, the community, the shared sense of self. It's a very special atmosphere, a local pride, really just a crackling sense of wonder. Cards and the Blues, very much community. God bless you, Patty Maroon. And in your mind, what differentiates fans in this city? I'm really trying to get to the essence of St. Louis fandom.
Well, I think that people are weaned on baseball in this town. It's a great a great sports city. We had the Rams, and one of the things was that we didn't support the Rams. Business is one thing. And people get that, they understand it. But to say that we didn't support the team was crazy, because I had 9 seats myself. So this place was we really support our sports teams. I think that people realize now, especially after 2018, when we had the 100-year PGA Championship here, what a great sports city it is. We had support like you wouldn't believe, and we almost saw Tiger Woods. It was really kind of the beginning of a comeback for Tiger Woods, so that was an exciting time, and we got some more exciting things coming. But people are weaned on baseball in this town. Tickets are passed down from generation to generation, and wearing the birds on the bat, it's something very, very special. There's so many guys around that, that understand the importance of wearing the birds on the bat, and there's a certain pride that goes with that too. And because these people, whether we win, lose, or draw, they're there supporting. And I think it's our goal to be and present the very best product that we can present. And when you have Budweiser behind you too, it's not a bad deal, So we got the Clydesdales, and it's all part of the pageantry of what makes this such a special town. And dun 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 dun. Dun 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 da 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 da. You got it.
I love it.
And there it is. And it makes it so special when you feel the hoofs of those Clydesdale coming around on opening day, you know that it's time for us to say play ball.
Well,
Thank God that chicken ran you out of San Diego. Is all I'm going to tell you. I do want to know, given the loss of the Rams, Stan Kroenke, you bastard. David, there's a space really in the city, right?
Yeah.
Now he owns a soccer team too, right?
Yeah.
He doesn't. We're not sure Stan Kroenke actually knows he owns the soccer team. It may just be a rounding error on his spreadsheet, David. But the loss of the Rams, do you think there's a space a burgeoning new soccer team perhaps could fill?
You might call them, if you want, St. Louis City SC. That would be a good name. Build a beautiful 22,000-seat stadium. That'd be nice.
You have experienced joy in this city. These fans have experienced love. They've experienced heartbreak, which is why I admire this city and love it so bloody much, to be candid. You've lived a lot of life, St. Louis. You really have. And I'm fascinated. I know you played soccer in high school, Ozzie Smith. What if our best athletes played soccer? God, I wish Greg had brought Ozzie Smith on today in that second half. God, can you imagine?
That would have been amazing.
It would have been amazing.
Oh, no. Sorry, Jordan, sit down. We're bringing on Ozzie Smith.
It would have been amazing. The backflip, the Welsh would have been, what the fuck just happened?
Yeah, I know.
Sorry, Ozzie, for that. But I want to know, actually, what kind of a soccer player was young Ozzie Smith?
Well, I was fast. Wasn't very good, but I was fast.
Greg says you fit his system. But what kind of reception do you expect this new MLS team to get, Ozzie Smith? That's really what we want to get, right, David?
Yeah.
What do I expect?
Yeah, this new MLS team, St. Louis, you think the city will get behind this team?
They've already proven that.
I love it.
Yeah.
Love it.
They've already proven that. And, here again, it's all about, I don't think that we have to prove it anymore. I think people really realize now that what a great sports town this is. And it's only going to get better, because people love their sports here. And if the organization puts forth the effort to put the players on the field, they're going to support it. And that's just plain and simple. That's the way it is. That's what makes this such a special town.
Love it.
Ozzie Smith, one last question for you. You once said, I think of myself as an artist on the field. Every game, I look for a chance to do something that the fans have never seen before, which I love about life. You're an athlete who never took a moment for granted. We sit here at the start, really, of a month-long World Cup. 800 athletes are over there right now, each one looking to do a single thing that the fans have never seen before. You did it so many times over the course of your 19-year career. You've created so many memories that so many people in this room, I know for me, we carry them with us over a lifetime. And your life highlight reel is something that people, especially here in St. Louis, hold dear. What does that feel like to know that you've impacted people's lives in such a profound fashion?
Well, first of all, having the opportunity to come here and play was a blessing in and of itself. And it truly is a blessing to be able to play or do something that create memories that last a lifetime. And I certainly have had that opportunity here in St. Louis to create memories like Smith corks one down the line. May go crazy, folks, go crazy. The Cardinals have won the game by the score of 3-2 on a home run by the Wizard. When you have icons like Jack Buck, who was fortunate enough to be at the mic on that call, who, by the way, thought he missed the call, it was perfect. It was perfect, and I feel like I've hit 500 home runs, because of that call. And I tell you, one of the special moment, a real special moment for me, is when I'm doing a card show and I have a little kid that comes up and he can barely see over the table and he puts his card up there. and he wants me to sign the card, and his mom says to him, do it for him, do it for him. The little kid goes, Smith corks one down the line. May go, may go. And he does the whole thing word for word, and she says that every time they got in the car, they had to put that tape in. And when you're able to create memories like that, what a real blessing that is.
Oh, wow. So beautiful.
Ozzie Smith, you are a great American, a true legend. It's really the honor of Dave and my World Cup tour to sit here with you in this city, on this stage. If St. Louis SC haven't reached out for you to request a backflip performance, their first kickoff, get on it. Huge love, huge ovation for the great, the legend, the icon, the memory maker, Mr. Ozzie Smith.
Wow.
Ozzie Smith!
Okay, Roger, second guest. One of my many friends from St. Louis, one of the most beloved comics in the world, a woman who takes no prisoners. You'll know if you've ever seen her roast anyone. She has elevated blue comedy into fine art, one of the greatest roasters of her generation. Also, as it happens, a St. Louis native who has recently returned home. She's moved back to St. Louis to great fanfare. The only person we will have on stage tonight who has an entire day dedicated to her by this gorgeous municipality. Popping by in between stops on her new tour, one night only with Nikki Glaser. It's the queen of the F-boys herself, the only Glaser that we at Men in Blazers would feel comfortable endorsing. It's the one and only Nikki Glaser! Nikki.
Oh my God. Oh, Taylor Swift too. You guys know me. Hi.
I know. Got the right music down.
God, how great is this? Ozzie Smith.
I know.
Oh my God, I just hung out backstage with Ozzie Smith for so long.
What was the highlight?
You know what the highlight was that we were talking about, I don't know anything about sports, so I just always feel like such a fraud with anyone who is just so impressive in that level. But I do know about your brain. And he was saying that the physical taxation of baseball was less than the mental taxation of it. I don't even know if taxation is a word in this sense. But it was interesting to me that he said that he was more, sometimes it was more exhausting mentally out there just to not get distracted. I'm putting words into his mouth,
I'll put words into his mouth because he told me his life desire after 15 All-Star games is to be a contestant on F-Boy Island.
I know he's a nice guy. And at one point he was just like, you guys kept offering him waters, and he was good to go. He was very well hydrated. He came in hydrated.
Good.
But people kept coming in and making sure. No one really asked me if I needed anything, but that's fine. And they were like, you look fine. I'm like, I'm a dry bitch. But
what does the F stand for in F-Boy Island?
do I really have to tell you this way? Freedom. No, this is America, Michael. It
stands for Fallon.
What was that?
Fallon. O'Fallon.
Oh yeah, that's a place here.
It is a place. Just dropping local knowledge.
Oh, Fallon. That's what we say, and we don't say that.
There's children here, so I'm trying to get us away from the word fuck.
Nikki, where do you rank? Where do you rank in terms of celebrities from St. Louis?
I have low self-esteem, so I'm not going to put myself too high. But I would say I'm maybe at this point 5th or 6th.
Between whom and whom?
Okay, so if we're going, I think John Hamm right now is really the one from St. Louis that represents us where we go. We're very proud.
I think T.S. Eliot was in that slot.
Sorry.
But then Ham got all that voiceover work and was like, move over, Eliot, you bastard.
That's a really good point.
So Ham, number one.
I've never seen T.S. Eliot and some, boxers walking around. Like who knows? But I would say John Hamm, and then Ellen?
Nelly.
Oh, I was like, what?
I know. Ellen's from St. Louis.
No, you learned something new. Yeah, Nelly, of course. Yeah, I would say probably Nelly, then John Hamm. Okay, so let's go Nelly, John Hamm, and then I would go Jenna Fisher. Yeah, she's pretty up there, but we also have...
That was Jenna Fisher herself in the crowd shouting out her name. Respect, Jenna.
That's her sister. Don't forget her. Yeah. Jenna Fisher, Ellie Kemper, Carly Kloss. Who? John Goodman. Oh, that is good, man. That's a good one. This is
you might be
out
going
of control.
A little lower.
People are
you might be going a little lower.
They don't want me to be 5 or 6. I thought I was. I live here, goddammit. All these other people have left. They're not coming back to you.
However,
John Hamm comes for the holidays, maybe. I live here.
However, when I thought of St. Louis, and I thought of who represents the city in my imagination, I thought of you and only you.
Oh, that's so nice. Really?
Andy Cohen wasn't home for Thanksgiving.
Yeah, I think that's what everyone else is just more successful, and so that's maybe. But no, I'm actually doing quite well.
You're doing amazingly well.
Yeah,
You are
I'm glad you said it. That was weird when I said
you're doing amazingly well. You know what a believer I am in Nikki
Glaser. You've always been a huge
I just
supporter.
am a massive, massive fan.
Thank you.
I love you too because I love F-Boy Island, which honestly...
Do you really? Are you actually a fan of F-Boy Island?
I mean, do I live and breathe? Am I a rational human being? Do I appreciate...
It is a great show.
I know it is. It's like the Greeks had like epic poetry. We've got F-Boy Island. I do hope, I'll say this. I'm going to say this publicly because I actually mean it. And most of the time I don't say things I mean. You know that, anyone listening to this podcast. But I do hope that in like 3,000 years when like our society has been wiped out by an apocalypse and archaeologists find one thing from our civilization that represents us, I hope it's a DVD of F-Boy Island. But I also think they should have called the Qatar World Cup F-Boy Island. But it is a cultural gem, and I want to know...
Thank you.
It's ingeniously surreal. You're like half host, half therapy.
Yes.
To a group of delusional men in matching sweat sets.
It's...
And here's what I want to know.
Best description I've ever heard.
Can you tell can you tell? Oh my God! Can you tell the quality of a man by the stupidity of his haircut? Where do you stand?
Yeah, I think by any kind of too much effort put in, you go, this guy's wasting his. This guy's stupid. Yeah, like it's just too. You two, I go. These guys.
No effort.
No. You put a little bit of effort, but this guy over here really letting it go. I don't even know if this is intentional, this pop collar, or you truly forgot. That's how you dress, is that I can't tell if this is a look or you are just that lazy.
No, it's a look. I've seen James Spader in several movies from the 1980s. We're very similar human beings.
No, I love that you pointed out the therapy aspect of F-Boy Island. So if you haven't seen the show, what's wrong with you? But also, it's I make fun of everyone. It's like it's a reality show and we take it seriously, but we also make fun of it the whole time because it's a ridiculous premise. It's called F-Boy Island. That's why I wanted to host it. I heard the name of it and I was like, oh, this is a show that it'll make fun of itself. And so one of the things on the show is that I am this like therapist. Once an F-boy reveals himself to be an F-boy and he gets eliminated, he gets sent off to this place called Limbro, where he's just waiting there until the end of the show. And now, if you're a nice guy on the show, you get sent to the nice guy grotto, and you're treated like a prince, and you're, fanned and fed grapes, and you stay in this castle. But if you are voted off and you're an F-boy, you go to Limbro, which is this like, survival type style, like really rugged. They're sleeping on cots in the sand. It's not a good experience. But then
it's
I
like
go
Qatar.
in. Yeah, exactly. That's how the migrant workers lived. Yes, exactly. Rest in peace. To those of you whose names we know, the others will never be named. But
okay, so in Limbro.
So yeah, let's get off that topic. Okay. So I do want to say it is funny that so many artists turned down performing at for the World Cup. Dua Lipa, Shakira, and then Morgan Freeman, I didn't even know he could sing. I love that he went in there. That was my joke for the evening. Okay, so go back to F-Boy Island. So I'm just there. So there's these sketches that we do, and there's sketches in Limbo where I come in and I play this therapist. And let me just be honest with you, if you watch the show, these guys are just filing in, and we're just doing a sketch. You know, I'm asking them about their feelings, but we're doing comedy bits, and they're in and out, like very quickly. I spend maybe 2 minutes with each guy, and it's clearly a comedy sketch. So cut to second season, one of the guys from the first season, Peter, is back on the show, and now he is doing very well. He was eliminated early on in the first season. And one of the girls who I'm close with the 3 girls are looking for love, and I get to be close with them, and I'm helping them. And one of them went on a date with Peter, and she said to me, I don't know what you did last season, but thank you. And I go, for what? And she goes, Peter said those therapy sessions helped him so much. And I was like, what? And then I watched it back, and he really thought it was therapy. He was just like, Mia, I've changed.
Cute.
Nikki's therapy changed me. And I was literally just asking him, what did your mother do to you? I was just like, why do you hate women so much? Why are you an F-boy? But that's how starved these men are for therapy, that he counted that, and that changed him, this 2-second bit. Because I think men are scared to go to therapy because they're going to be diagnosed as gay if they cry. But that's not a diagnosis anymore. So that person's excited about that.
Roger's
But it's
crying
wild.
right now.
It's so fun. It's the best show. It's so insane.
I'm still just thinking about Morgan Freeman being in limbo. Classic. You know, the World Cup's going on. The cliche is always that Americans hate soccer, but burly NFL fans who can't understand why the World Cup games don't keep stopping for commercial breaks are confused by it. You understand the mind of Peter and other Limbo bros. Where do you think that disdain comes from? What is it about soccer that feels such an anathema to the American sporting mind?
I think because it's just so hard, and we're just maybe it's the work ethic, all the running. They're short. We don't like short guys. I don't know what it is. I think it's just were we just not that good at it until recently? Okay, that guy agrees with me. Is that maybe a reason? We weren't just exceptional at it, and we're kind of.
T.S. Eliot. Represent St. Louis. Big shout out to you, T.S. But you tweeted October 17, 2014.
No.
Had to go way back into the archives.
No, what did I tweet?
You tweeted.
No.
Overheard by a girl at my gate on her son's future. Soccer? That won't last him past high school. But dance? He'll use those skills at weddings forever.
At weddings forever.
That's a haunting utterance. I spent years thinking of all those American footballers who we've lost to dance over the years.
And to say that at weddings he will be entertaining people for decades. That guy at the wedding that dances, it's a nice look. When I was single, I would be on the dating apps, and the guys would always include a picture of them at a wedding because it makes sense. It's a nice picture, black and white, shot really, artistically. But the one that I hated, as long as it's not your wedding, that's a good one to put on an app. But even that, you're at least he's marriage material. He could do it. He's done it once. But
somebody believed it.
Yeah. But I think that the ones that some guys will put them dancing. If any single girls are there, if you've been on the apps, you'll see a guy. There's no single fucking women here. Are you kidding me? There's just women who are, roped into a relationship where they have to be brought.
It's a slightly different crowd for you, Nikki.
It is. They're buying it. They get it. And the women, they're not allowed to laugh, but they're But are the pictures of the guys on the dance floor where they're doing the worm or they're doing some kind of show off kind of dance move. Guys love to put that on their dating app because they're I'm the life of the party. And I'm you're the liability of the party. This is the most. If you're a guy at a wedding who does the worm, no one likes you. No one. Have you ever been on a dance floor and been I can't wait till someone busts out the worm and we have to clear space for him. He's too drunk. He hasn't done it since college. He has no upper body strength. He hits his tooth on the floor. He bleeds everywhere. Ruined Denise's day. This is that guy. Don't put yourself dancing at a wedding.
Okay, good.
But do
Great.
play soccer.
Great. It's a very different episode of
But
Men in
soccer is a
Blazers.
short man sport, right? Like that's
Well,
the one. Yeah.
sometimes.
Sometimes, but I mean, I would say compared to other sports, aren't short men probably excelling
Lionel
more?
Messi, who may or may not be the greatest player ever in world football, is diminutive.
Okay, yeah. I like a short guy. I think I was looking at the U.S. men's roster and I was like, there's hot guys.
You were doing some searching today.
Oh, I was. I thought you were gonna like have me look at them and rate them, so I already did it. And thought I was gonna get to objectify men tonight, but I guess I just have to honor their
And then you've
skills.
just got us. Okay, I don't mean to get too geopolitical with you, because I know geopolitics is another subject that is not one of your big ones.
Yeah, let's go back to soccer.
But St. Louis style pizza.
Okay. Oh yeah.
Used to work at a pizza joint in
Yeah,
high school.
I did. Look at
Emos.
you. Emos, baby. Webster. Yeah.
The Provel cheese, the
Yes.
cracker crust. Are you in or are you out on St. Louis pizza?
Well, I'm in because I don't want to be crucified later this week at the Thanksgiving Day Parade, which I'm the Grand Marshal of.
Oh, you are singing the
Yes.
national anthem at the St. Louis Thanksgiving Day Parade.
I will be singing the national anthem. I asked to sing it, thank you, a couple people who did choir with me in high school. Yeah.
That's a genuine. Is that nerve-wracking or is that exciting?
It is so exciting. I feel like I'm nervous again about, like, I don't really get nervous anymore performing and stuff. It's like that adrenaline rush of doing stand-up has kind of gone away. I mean, looking into your eyes right now, I'm feeling it again, but generally.
We should say that Ozzie walked in backstage and met Nikki, and Nikki was very excited to meet Ozzie. And
Yeah.
he goes, oh yeah, I was there the night you threw out the...
First pitch.
Yeah.
And I go, I'm sorry you had to see that. And he was like, it's okay. He couldn't even look me in the eye after that. Like, so yeah, they had like a Nikki Glaser Day at Cardinal Stadium when I was promoting my E show. You can buy a day for yourself, by the way. Like, E bought me a day. I was embarrassed. I was like, this is so annoying that they have to do this.
E no longer exists.
bought
By
me
the
a
way,
day.
that's when broadcasting budgets are really broadcasting
Yeah.
budgets when they could buy you a whole day.
They bought me a day, and the mayor, they gave me a key to the city. The mayor could not make it to the ceremony to give it to me because she was giving a key to like her dog walker because she was going out of town or something. So she was presenting a key on the other side of town. No, her assistant gave it to me, but it was a whole day. But I threw out the first pitch, and I did not want to do it. I only did it because all my male friends were like, "That's my dream. You gotta do it." And I was like, "Okay, I'll do it." And like, what's the worst that could happen? And it wasn't good. It was not good, but it wasn't terrible. But it was. I really wanted to sing the national anthem, and they were like, "No, Robinson Elementary's got it."
It was like a Rick Ankiel of a pitch if you actually look it up on YouTube.
Oh.
But
See,
Oh,
that
how
too
dare
soon?
you! I don't even know what it means, but
Was
I'm
that
gonna
too
too soon.
He's also up there. What, T.S. Eliot or Rick Ankiel? Where are they in the hierarchy of taste? But yeah, growing up here, we do want you've talked about.
See, I'm just kidding.
You know,
I'm
how
just
do you do that?
practicing.
How do you do the register change, by the way?
How did what?
How do you do the register change in the middle of the national anthem?
How do I do it? The register change?
Yeah, right at the end when you've got to go back out and really
Oh
deliver
yeah.
like
Well, I just
Marvin
had
Gaye.
vocal cord surgery September 8th. I had my vocal cords because there was so much damage on them from just screaming over the years in loud bars that I got them shaved. I got my vocal cords shaved down. I couldn't talk for 3 weeks. It was insane. And I did. Everyone's like, "Oh, you did it for comedy." And I'm like, "No, I would have been fine talking the rest of my life. I just want to be able to sing. So now I can hit Eddie Know What I Want."
whoa.
Yeah.
I feel like
not that. I mean, not do it.
I feel.
Sir, do you want to date? That really turned me on, that aggressiveness. Not really asking my consent. It really got me. I will. No.
Here's what I want to know. You talked about some awful human beings tonight. Do you know who this man is? This son of Columbia, Missouri.
No,
If you're
wait,
listening on a
who
podcast,
is that?
do you know who that is?
No.
You don't know who that is.
I truly don't know who that is.
If he was on
I'm
FBI
guessing it's Stan Kroenke.
Yes!
Okay, just because I know that's who everyone hates, but I've never seen his face before because that's how much I fucking hate him. I won't even Google his fucking face. He doesn't deserve to be in my eyesight.
Who would he be on F-Boy Island?
Oh, I mean, he would be a producer that was making it so all the girls cry every night. And yeah, he would be an evil person behind the scenes, which we don't do on the show, but if we did, he would be the guy.
We always joke that he owns Arsenal Football Club, but he doesn't know, just with his double-breasted suits and displacing historic franchises, that keeps him too busy to actually know he owns it. Arsenal fans hate him almost as much as St. Louis Rams fans, which is like a beautiful cross-cultural bridge. You genuinely have never seen this human being before in your life?
No, it's so funny, but I know he's like, it's like Hitler, Stan Kroenke. Like, I know that you just must hate him. If you could go back in time and kill a baby, it's going to be Hitler or Stan Kroenke. I know that as a St. Louisan.
For podcast listeners, can you tell us where your hands were in position when you said Hitler and Stan Kroenke?
You know my rankings off. You heard me rank myself 5th or 6th, so don't trust what.
Okay, Nikki, you moved back home to St. Louis at the beginning of the pandemic, quite literally home into your childhood bedroom.
Yes, I did. Kirkwood. Yep.
And like so many people in those early
Where are you on the
shelter-in-place
ranking
months.
of famous people from Kirkwood?
5 or 6.
I'll tell you, it's Scott Bakula. Don't you even forget it. So I'm number 2, and then also Rosie O'Donnell's piano man, back when she had her show, John D. McDonald, he was there too.
Whoa.
So I'm a solid number 2.
So you thought you were going to leave again when things calmed down after
Yes.
the pandemic.
I did.
But you've since moved out again from that childhood bedroom, but you've stayed in St. Louis. Why? What has kept you here at home in St. Louis?
To be honest, it's that I don't feel like special here. Like I don't feel, it just feels like home. I don't have to like compare myself to anyone because everyone's like not doing that well. And so it's like, no, that's not true at all. I kid. No, it's like no one cares here about celebrity. No one cares. Like I'll get my hair cut like from a new lady, and she'll be like, "Oh, what are you getting your hair done for?" And I'm like, hosting Kimmel next week." And they're just like, "Oh, okay. So what sign are you?" Like they don't care at all about. They just want to tell me about like what their nephews do. So I just like that they're not impressed by celebrity as much as other places, and I think it's kept me a little bit more humble, and it's made me care less about shallow stuff. I just feel like when I'm here, I care about my family, I care about my mental health, I care about the Cardinals, really important things.
Because you do care a lot about shallow stuff too.
I do care. I care so much about dumb stuff, and so I have to keep that away from myself. I compare the way I care about celebrity and things like that. It's almost like, and comparing myself to those people, it's like a sickness. So I kind of keep it on the coast, almost like when an alcoholic checks into a hotel and like says, "Take the minibar downstairs." Like I gotta be able to go get it. I can't have it just right there. I can't have Kendall Jenner walking down the street next to me. I'm a St. Louis 9, but in LA, and you guys know my rankings. Thank you. I'm a definite 5 or 6 in LA, and it hurts. But here, I do pretty well. We got hot girls, but I know what neighborhoods to stay in O'Fallon.
By the way, I'm a Kirkwood 3. But here's what I want to know. Proudly a Kirkwood 3, to be candid. I've had to work so bloody hard to be a Kirkwood 3. I've debated
That's
all
why
that.
it's popped the collar.
Yeah.
Yeah, the collars, honestly, that gives me all 3 points. But, if you had to sell someone on St. Louis, the people in this room obviously do not need selling, and they are all gorgeous and beautiful. But for posterity, for everyone watching along on Twitch, listening on the pod, East Coast, West Coast people who I'm sure are constantly questioning, your Midwest sense of resurgence. What is the quality? What's the singularity of? I love this place, but can you put into words the essence of this magical city? What do you say?
I think I can. I'll say this. Whenever my whole life since moving out of St. Louis, people always say you're so nice. And like in a genuine way, I feel not in a Southern way where they kind of just are. And not to shit on the South, but like I just feel like I've always heard that, and I grew up in St. Louis, so the South sucks. I don't know, whatever. So
Bless your heart.
bullying me into it. Yeah, exactly. That bless your
Bless
heart.
your
It's
heart.
like, do you really bless my heart? Like, do you really care? But I feel like people have always said, you're so nice. And then I say, I'm from St. Louis. And they go, everyone I meet from St. Louis is so nice.
Yeah.
So it was something,
True.
when you grow up around it, you don't know that everyone's nice. And I feel like people are really nice here. And I will also say that when I shot my reality show for E, I had the whole crew was from the coast, from LA and New York, and flew in. And they were living here for 8 weeks to shoot the show. And many of them have looked into buying property out here and moving their whole families out here because they loved it so much. Many of them on the crew, and they've been back to shoot. They like want to keep pitching shows so they can just stay here. So it is. I mean, Forest Park is bigger than Central Park. It is so gorgeous. There's no one ever in it. It's like empty all the time. We don't even go to it. City Museum, our baseball stadium. Like if you are a sports fan, it is such a great town for that, especially with the new soccer stadium. I mean, it is. If you're looking to relocate and start a new life, St. Louis is. We would love to have you, and we have great food. We just have great entertainment. We have great venues. I'm going to be at the Stifle Theater on on New Year's Eve for a very special show of my tour. And so, yeah, I love St. Louis. Come be my friend here. Live here. Yeah.
Love it. You mentioned your tour. You start when? You go where? How long will it last?
I'm on tour currently, so I'm just back home now for Thanksgiving. But I've been on the road for like 3 weeks now, and it ends, I think, never. Like, I think it's the rest of my life is touring, but it'll end when I tape my next special, probably in the fall. I'll tape it, but this it's all new material that you haven't heard on my special that came out in July or any of my other specials, and it's like my favorite material I've ever done. I've really always been known for being like a sex comic, and it's probably like 5% about sex. Like,
wow.
I always said that I would move on from talking about sex when something else interests me, and now I guess talking about J-Lo and how she's lying about not having plastic surgery is interesting to me now more than that. So it's more about just like calling out, hypocrisy in entertainment.
Beautiful,
And a lot
Nikki.
more. And about my pussy, let's be honest. Is that sex, though, if I'm
There
not
we go.
having it?
Will you, I'm coming back here in March. I'm going to come here and see this wonderful soccer team play.
Yes.
Will you come with me
I
to
would love
St.
to.
Louis City? We'll go and see
Make
the team
me
play.
a soccer fan. I will
Can't wait for
become
it.
one
Nikki
that
Glaser,
day.
you are the single greatest. Godspeed.
Thank you so
Thank
much,
you for
you
being
guys.
here.
Thank you. So fun.
Love her.
Nikki Glaser!
Our favorite Glazer.
Definitely top 20 sex comic from St. Louis.
Okay, Rog, time for one
One
last
more
guest.
sex comic.
Yes. Joining us now, a singular human being, a man who worked himself expertly up the rungs of the Red Bull ladder before coming here to St. Louis to help realize this glorious city's dreams of becoming a great American soccer hub.
As
If you
a
don't
sex
know his
comic.
name, you will very soon. From Johannesburg, by way of Wits University, VfB Stuttgart, Borussia Mönchengladbach, and most recently assistant coach of the mighty New York Red Bulls, the man in whose hands the future of the newest member of MLS rests. Head coach of your new and ebullient St. Louis City Soccer Club, it's the one and only Bradley Carnell. Thank you.
Oh, Bradley Carnell, it is incredible to be with you. Congratulations on all you've achieved in this delirious city of St. Louis, which we will discuss. But first up, there's three people on this stage. All three of us grew up dreaming of playing in a World Cup, and you actually did it. You're a defender for South Africa at the 2002 tournament. Tell us, when you're playing a World Cup game and the whistle's gone, and you still play it, does it feel different for the whole 90 minutes? You're like, oh my God, it's a World Cup game, it's a World Cup game, it's a World Cup game. Or are you just like, okay, we're in it?
No, I don't think so. I think once that whistle blows, you get engulfed. Either you get engulfed in that moment, and then you'll disappear and fade away. So I think the best thing is just to forget about it. And usually, in those big settings, you're able to put a block around the atmosphere, just to put a block on the event itself, and that always helps any individual when it comes to a big scene stage. And you speak about big match temperament and stepping up to the plate when it matters most, and to play in a World Cup, and we were just saying it off air, like these things come back now 20 years later and you think, wow, that's a massive achievement. But in the moment, you're just living it for the 90 minutes, and it's a soccer game, and you're doing this. It was your passion, was your love, and all of a sudden you're playing for your national team. So these are things that you truly value nowadays.
Wow, I still miss the vuvuzelas. Thinking about South Africa, the World Cup, we all think of the opening day, that amazing day. Rog, you and I were together in Brooklyn watching it. World Cup 2010. Sifiwe Shabalala stepped up to announce himself to the world like this.
Wow. And then the train. There we go.
God.
Yeah.
I got to say, that to me is the true wonder of a World Cup, Bradley. That in the beat of an eye, a player who's relatively unknown, step up, deliver a moment of transcendent wonder, and within a second, kids around the world shouting out his name, trying to copy that move. That is just the essence of what's great about the tournament.
For sure. I mean, soccer in general and professional sports has the ability to inspire and unify, and especially a country like South Africa that unified the nation. Just those, you think about the Rugby World Cup, South Africa winning it now twice, also with the Bafana squad back then, the whole nation just stood still. Anything that happened, any troubles, any problems just seemed to have disappeared. And that was the best thing of it, It's like, hey, put everything on hold, let's enjoy some soccer,
So this fine city of St. Louis, it is a proper soccer city. We were down at City Park today.
City
Wow.
Red looks good on you, by the way.
What a beautiful football-specific stadium that the guys have built down here, one that this city with its deep and rich soccer history deserves. A city that has given us Tim Ream, Josh Sargent, Becky Sauerbrunn. It's a delight to finally watch it soar, to watch you pack 22,000 into City Park Stadium in 31-degree weather for that friendly against Bayer Leverkusen last week. And the community side is one of the same. Sold out season ticket allotment, 80%. Look into the future. Tell us, in 5 years, in 10 years, the very real footballing roots that are blossoming in the city, how high can these roots grow? Where can you take
I think we have to go back 11 months. When the ownership group and myself and Lutz, we all got together to discuss a project, and that started way before even I arrived 11 months ago, and just having a look at where it's gone with City 2. City 2, I remember you all at SLU, 6,500 people on the very first day. That was intentional, that was incredible, and that gave us inspiration, and we knew that we have big boots to fill. And then thinking about last week, Wednesday, just a magnificent way to wrap up the year with 22,500 people in a sellout crowd, just to show that, we mean business, and St. Louis, the St. Louisan, took me a while to learn that word, the St. Louisan means business as well, So just thinking of that incredible moment for me. Unfortunately, being on the 4th floor in the press box, wasn't allowed to really be on the touchlines, but hopefully we'll get enough time next year to get that done and dusted. But yeah, City 2, we've been managing this year almost like a trial run of the first team. So we look back now and what we've been able to achieve in the short term, building the foundations, the culture, the intensity of the style of play that we want to go about, which inspires, the blue-collar working-like system that I feel that, St. Louisan sort of deserves to be had in the stadium. We want to get you on the edge of the seats. We want to get the fans entertained. We want to be good both ends of the goals, So this excites me. And, looking about last week, it's truly inspirational.
So great. So how do you spend the next few months?
Well, the next few months have been obviously the expansion draft just happening now. So now the college the sort of the college schedule now is well underway, and we're scouring the networks there, watching all the different college games, sending out scouts all over the country just to observe that. And the Super Draft will be the next sort of topic on our agenda as well. There's a couple of re-entry drafts maybe now, coming through the ranks. Some guys who are able to pick up contracts just along the way. So it never really ends as we're tapering down the year. There's always something to do. There's always people in the office. And credit to our players. They're on holiday, but some of them are still packed in the gym now. So, it's just, it's also another testament to the type of culture that we've set at the club here. That we want to build this thing, and we want to make it a solid foundation for years to come.
Wow, well.
I'm reading between the lines. I think Bradley's just said we're going to sign Ronaldo. And we're going to bring him to fulfill his dream of playing in St. Louis.
Yeah. No, a different Ronaldo, a different one. A different one.
The original one.
Yeah. Well, it doesn't sound like you need a lot of luck. It sounds like you've got everything under control, but we do wish you the greatest luck with this enterprise, with this fantastic new franchise. And St. Louis, please be upstanding for your leader in this next sporting chapter of wonder in your city. Wow, what a stadium. Can't wait to come back when you join the big league in March, hopefully with the son of St. Louis, Andy Cohen, my boy, and Nikki Glaser. Let's hear it for Bradley Carnell.
Thank you.
Beautiful.
Oh.
Beautiful, Rog. What a night.
It's got to sign Ozzie Smith, right?
Yeah. You could sign Ozzie Smith. It'd probably be quite good.
One of those many drafts, the re-entry draft sounds good.
Yeah, the former Major League Baseball player draft that MLS are putting in there. Let's not let the night stop right now. We're on our way to raise a glass at Ballpark Village. That's 601 Clark Avenue. Come and raise a bottle too with both of us and our team. We've got some incredible raffle items, courtesy of Bud, including kits of our baby Eagles and even a couple of signed kits from our world champion United States women, GFOPs. We can't wait to see you there.
Oh, before we go tonight, we want to close out the show with some old friends of ours, the St. Louis Guns. These are fans who have loved and lost and just driven and passionate and built and built and built. They're on the cusp of wonder, the official supporters of St. Louis SC, actually making their second appearance. They were back here when Josh Sargent, thank you very much, was on the show back in 2018.
Oh, thank you.
Come and join us for a drink at the bar, St. Louis. But for now, play us out, the St. Louis Guns, playing St. Louis is Wonderful and all that stuff. Go for it, gentlemen, and everyone who was on this bloody stage with us. It's just like being in an episode of F-Boy Island. I've never felt more like Nikki Glaser, and I kind of love it. Davo, oh, come on, guys. Courage. Take it away. St. Louis, come and have a pint with us. Come and have a pint with us, St. Louis. Let's look forward to Friday. And let's F. Piers Morgan and send him to Limbro. Courage!